Hello and welcome to the call. Now today I wanted to do this call because it's been a very, very historical day again today, because today what we saw was another all-time high of Bitcoin that was achieved. Today, believe it or not, the price of one Bitcoin actually hit $60,000. So I'll just show you what happened today. So looking at this chart, you can see what's happening in the cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin space at the moment. So currently the price of Bitcoin is $60,800, give and take. And you can see again from this chart, if I just increase the size of the chart here, you can see what's been happening, certainly with Bitcoin. Let me change that to days and let's have a look. So today, the price of Bitcoin, and today it's actually if you look at the date today, it is the 3rd of March today, 13th of March, 2021, the price of one Bitcoin hit, let's have a look, in excess of $60,000. Bitcoin achieved a price of in excess of $60,000. It's the first time it's ever happened. It's the first time I've seen the price of Bitcoin surpass $60,000. Now today I want to talk about the supply and demand of Bitcoin and how it operates in the marketplace and why we're seeing what we're seeing at the moment with the price of Bitcoin. So if I just pan out of the chart, you can actually see what's been happening in the market since the beginning of time, certainly since the beginning of the birth of Bitcoin. Now obviously this chart does not go back to as far as 2009. Bitcoin, as you know or may not know, was conceived in 2009, and in 2009 the price of one Bitcoin was around 10 cents. The price of one Bitcoin in 2009 was around 10 cents, and since 2009 the Bitcoin's just shot through the roof. And currently today, like I said earlier, today it's the 13th of March 2021, and the price of Bitcoin has now exceeded $60,000. Now imagine if you'd bought one Bitcoin. This chart doesn't go back to as far as 2009, but just imagine if you bought one Bitcoin in 2009, held on to it until today and sold it today, you'd be looking at a profit of around $60,000. That is a big number. $60,000 profit had you bought just one Bitcoin. Now some people have actually bought more than one Bitcoin, and many people became millionaires in December 2017, and you can see the peaks here. So December 2017, the previous all-time peak of Bitcoin was achieved of around $20,000. So many people that bought Bitcoin where the price was very, very low and sold at $20,000, many of them became millionaires. Now there's something known as the Bitcoin Pizza Index, and again this is a very, very interesting concept that we've got here. And with the Bitcoin Pizza Index, there was a guy called Laszlo Hanyecz, and he had 10,000 Bitcoins in 2020 on May 18th 2010. On the 18th of May 2010, a guy called Laszlo Hanyecz actually had 10,000 Bitcoins, and he sold those Bitcoins in return for a couple of Papa John's pizzas. And in 2010, those 10,000 Bitcoins were only worth $41. So he sold them for 2 Papa John's pizzas. Now imagine if he'd held on to those. If he had held on to those 10,000 Bitcoins today, although this pizza index is saying 574,000, it's actually $600,000, give and take, because the price of Bitcoin has actually achieved $6,000. So this hasn't been updated yet, but again, once that's updated, that will show the Bitcoin Pizza Index to be $600,000. So today, he would have $600,000 in his bank account. Not 600, I'm talking about $600 million, not $600,000. He would have $600 million in his bank account. That is in excess of $500 million had he held on to his 10,000 Bitcoins, because at the moment the price of one Bitcoin is in excess of the concept of gold, because obviously with gold there's a limited supply. The same is the case for real estate, for property. That's why long term the price of Bitcoin will always go up. And again, you can see that from this chart. Long term, the price of Bitcoin will always go up. If you were to draw a similar chart for real estate and gold, you'll see a similar type of display where the price long term will always go up. Now, Bitcoin has a limited supply. I've drawn this chart here, my supply and demand chart. Basic economics, Bitcoin has a limited supply of 21 million. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins mined. And that will occur in and around the year 2140, when 21 million Bitcoins will have mined or been mined. Now, what you'll notice here is that when the Bitcoin was first conceived in 2009, the supply of Bitcoin in the market was very high. So the supply was high in 2009. And what we're noticing is with time, so this is actually time at the bottom here, with time, what we're noticing is that the price obviously is going up and the supply is dwindling. So with time, the supply of Bitcoin is coming down, but as the supply comes down, as there's less or fewer Bitcoin to mine, the demand is going up. So with commodities that are scarce, what you'll find is that because there's not that many available, the price tends to be high or tends to go up. And again, that is exactly what we're seeing here. 21 million Bitcoins in the marketplace in total. And at the moment, and I'll show you at the moment how many Bitcoins have been mined. And you can actually see what's happening in the market. So just give me a second. Let me see which one. I just have one here. There you go. So this is actually the total circulating supply of Bitcoin. And if I could just go right to the end, 18.6 million Bitcoins out of 21 million Bitcoins have already been mined. So 18.6, excuse me, have already been mined. Do a quick calculation, which means that 2.4 million Bitcoins remain to be mined. So up until 2140, 2.4 million Bitcoins have yet to be mined. Now, out of those 18.6 million Bitcoins, 20% are lost. So 20% of 18.6 is approximately, I'd say around, give and take, around 4 million. So around 4 million Bitcoins have actually been lost, where people have lost the wallet addresses, or they didn't know what they were doing and don't know how to access their Bitcoins. But generally, around 4 million Bitcoins have been lost and 18.6 million have been mined. And henceforth, there are currently 14.4 million Bitcoins in circulation. So 18.6 minus 4 is actually, so not 14.4, but actually 14.6. So 18.6, yeah. So, sorry, no, 14 point, I'm running, I forgot how to do my math, but basically there's 18.6 minus 4 is 14.6. There's actually 14.6 million Bitcoins currently in circulation. And that takes account of the fact that we've lost around 4 million Bitcoins. So if you do have Bitcoin at the moment, please make sure that it's in a safe place, like a hard wallet, or you've got separate exchanges, or however you want to hold your Bitcoin is up to you. But just make sure that you know how to access your wallets, because 20% of Bitcoins have actually been lost up until this point. Now, again, the market price of Bitcoin, as I've already told you, has exceeded, this doesn't actually show it here, but it has now exceeded $60,000, the market price of Bitcoin. The total market capitalization of Bitcoin, very, very interesting again, has again exceeded $1 trillion. So today, on the 13th of March 2021, the total market capitalization of Bitcoin has again exceeded $1 trillion, which again is a very, very important number, $1 trillion. So the market cap of Bitcoin at the moment, out of 8,763 cryptocurrencies, the market cap of Bitcoin is $1 trillion, or in excess of $1 trillion. So again, a very, very important milestone. We did exceed $1 trillion a few days ago, and then it came back down. But again, the market cap shows that it's done it again. We are now beyond $1 trillion. And as I speak, you can see the price of Bitcoin. As I speak, you can see that the price of Bitcoin has now exceeded $61,000. Now, in my earlier videos, I did say that another milestone was $62,000, and it looks like we are going to hit that very, very soon. If you look at my earlier videos, I stated that the price of Bitcoin would hit $62,000 or very close to $62,000, and you can see that as I'm doing this recording, as I'm doing this webinar, we have already almost hit $62,000. Okay, now again, when it comes to Bitcoin, one other thing, very, very important thing that we look at is something known as Bitcoin halving. So Bitcoin halving is very, very important, and we're looking at it every single day. And with Bitcoin halving, this is a phenomenon, call it whatever you want to, but it's where the supply of Bitcoin to the marketplace is halved every 4 or so years. Now, I did have a chart open on Bitcoin halving somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Otherwise, I'll just continue and explain it verbally. But Bitcoin halving occurs around every 4 or so years. And this is when the supply of Bitcoin is halved to the marketplace. And obviously, when the supply is halved, what we see happening is that the price tends to go up. And whenever this has happened in the marketplace, the price has gone up. So it looks like I can't find the chart I was talking about, but that's fine. We'll just carry on verbally as we go along. So the I think the first Bitcoin halving occurred in November 2012, and on this chart you cannot actually see that, but November 2012 was when the first Bitcoin halving occurred, and then 4 years later, again in 2016, was when it occurred again. So 2016 was when Bitcoin halving occurred again. And if you just bear with me, I think I found the chart, but just bear with me, and I'll see if I can put it on the page. Just Zoom's just playing about at the moment. So let me just see if I can find that chart, and I'll put it back on the page. So, and then you can see exactly how we've been doing this, how Bitcoin halving's been occurring. And again, whenever what I've noticed since I've been heavily involved in cryptocurrencies, I've been following the market, obviously, and I tend to know what's happening with the price. But again, since I've been watching the market, I've seen exactly what's happened every time Bitcoin halving has occurred. So this is the Bitcoin price history. It's a logarithmic scale, and you can see the dates when Bitcoin halving have occurred. So 28 November 2012 was the first halving, when 50 new Bitcoins that were previously created every 10 minutes dropped down to 25 Bitcoins. So at this point, 25 new Bitcoins were mined every 10 minutes. And then the next halving occurred on the 7th, or rather, it was actually the 9th of July, 2016. And then following that, that is the 9th of July, yes, that is right. And then following that, the last one was 11 May 2020. So every 4 years or so, Bitcoin halving has occurred. And you can see, even if you look at the Bitcoin price logarithmic scale, you can see how the price is going up. So historically, whenever halvings occurred, the price has increased. I wouldn't say it's shot through the roof, but after a few months, you will notice the difference that Bitcoin halving makes. So if I go back to the previous Bitcoin halving on this chart, so if I just go back to a wider display, so if I pan back to 7 September 2016 or thereabouts, and so this is when Bitcoin halving occurred in 2016. So around this date, Bitcoin halving occurred when the price of one Bitcoin was around $3,000 or so dollars, around $3,000 or so dollars. And then just over a year later, we hit the all-time high of Bitcoin of $20,000. So in December 2017, the price of Bitcoin went all the way up to around $20,000. Now, following that, the next Bitcoin halving occurred last year, 11 May 2020. And now what you'll find is that many people that were buying Bitcoin at this point, so, you know, I call them the lay public, and I don't want it to sound like a derogatory term, but the lay public, people who don't really understand what's happening in the marketplace, followers in the market, and like they say, you know, if your taxi driver, if your Uber driver is talking about Bitcoin, it's too late. Okay, so the general public, many people that started buying when the price was shooting up to $20,000, and then the price came down, many of them came out of the market. So many people came out of the market as the price was coming down here. However, had they stayed in the market, following December 2018, they would have been able to pick up the increase in price that we saw there as well. Now, it was the 11th of May 2020. So let me just go to 11th of May 2020. The next Bitcoin halving occurred. So 11 May 2020, the approximate price, excuse me, of Bitcoin was $9,000. Let's say $9,000, $10,000, as you can see on this chart. Following that Bitcoin halving, you saw this huge increase in price again to where we are today on the 13th of March 2021, where the price of one Bitcoin has now, as I speak to you live here today, has now exceeded $61,000. So again, supply and demand are extremely important. It's simple economics that as the demand increases, the price will go up. And as the supply dwindles, as there's fewer and fewer Bitcoins left in the marketplace, as you've seen here, the price of Bitcoin will go up. Now what we are expecting, I'm expecting the price of Bitcoin to actually exceed $62,000. Looking at the way it's going now, it might do it today, it might do it tomorrow, but certainly, definitely within the next few days, the price of one Bitcoin will exceed $62,000. So the supply and demand curve is very, very important, certainly when it comes to Bitcoin. And the next Bitcoin halving will occur 4 years from 2020. So 2024 or thereabouts will be the next Bitcoin halving, when the price of Bitcoin comes down from 6.25 to 3.125 Bitcoins that are mined every 10 minutes. And we will see the same thing again. The reason I've drawn this on this chart is just to show you the pattern that's happened. So you saw, you know, the triangular pattern here, and it's the same thing happening again. However, this 62,000 may not be the peak that we're looking for. The price of Bitcoin may actually hit $100,000 this year. The price of one Bitcoin could hit $100,000 this year. And again, I don't normally give trading ideas during these presentations, but again, based on our analysis, it looks like we are moving towards the six figures for one Bitcoin. If you're on this presentation for the first time, definitely I would recommend you start looking at what's happening in the crypto space, because cryptocurrency is the future of money. And again, certainly when I started, excuse me, when I first became involved in cryptocurrency, many people were saying to me, because you cannot hold cryptocurrency, it's not an asset, it is a scam. Now, if you think about fiat currency, your pounds, your dollars, is no longer backed by the gold standard, and governments can continue to print money at will. So if they want to print $1 trillion, they'll just go out and do that. And on the back of that, what will happen is that the time value of money will kick into place. And also with inflation and so on, it just means that your money is worth less tomorrow than it is today. So you have to be very, very careful when it comes to fiat currency, because again, it's not worth the paper it's written on. And definitely take cryptocurrency seriously. Now, this website here is the Bitcoin block reward halving countdown. And if I just find my calculator, it says that there's 1,150 days left for the next Bitcoin halving. So if I divide that by 365, it's about 3 years, just over 3 years left for the next Bitcoin halving. And again, what I'm expecting to see now, we will hit a peak. So sometime this year, maybe even the beginning of next year, we'll hit a peak, and again the price of Bitcoin will come down again. The price of Bitcoin will come down again, and many people will jump out of the market thinking it's a it's a bubble, but that's not the way that Bitcoin works. Again, we are expecting the price of Bitcoin to go up, because as we move towards a lower supply in the marketplace, the price of Bitcoin will naturally go up. So my recommendation to you is that if you're watching this video, if you don't understand cryptocurrency, definitely start looking at it. Cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. Bitcoin is one of 8,700 plus altcoins in the marketplace. If you'd like to understand Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies more, if you'd like to profit from these currencies, please get in touch with me. My links are somewhere on this or near this video. Please contact me via any of my links, my social media channels, and either myself or someone in my team can show you how to get started, how you can start trading cryptocurrencies for income from home. And in my particular case, in the last few years, I've visited, I think, 20 plus countries, and I've been able to run my business from anywhere in the world, and all I've needed is a mobile phone. So if you'd like to earn an additional income from home, from cryptocurrencies, from trading the markets, please get in touch with me through my social media channels, and we can get you started very, very quickly. My name is Dr. Jav. Thank you for watching my video. If you learned something from this video, please subscribe to my channel, like and share, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.